What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla Minus 2 news and updates. Today we're going to be continuing to prove that Toho really will license Godzilla for absolutely anything, and in fact we're going to get really into the specifics on why that is and how much money goes towards that, as a huge article was released in March that goes really in depth on Toho's big 3-year plan to expand Godzilla's global brand, and a big part of that was confirming a direct sequel to Godzilla Minus One. Or was it? Let's talk about it. Big shout out to Sharona Savannah 4759 for having notifications on and being part of D-Force and commenting right away on my recent Godzilla Minus 2 custom theme. Once again, big thank you to all the support on that. I really appreciate it. And if you're wondering who's gonna get the shout out for best alternate Godzilla Minus 2 title, is anybody? I don't actually know if anybody participated in that yet, because at the time I'm recording this, I haven't posted the last video where I said, go and post your best alternate title to Godzilla Minus 2, whatever the best title you think that movie should be called is, on my Godzilla Minus 2 custom theme titled Unforgiven. I thought that was a pretty cool title, and I'll shout you out in a future Godzilla Minus news and updates. All right, let's get into it. Starting out, we've got Daikaiju Photon's Godzilla Karma Squared poster. What a goofy title. I really like that one, Karma Squared. This is their Godzilla Karma Squared poster, featuring Godzilla's spines and Ghidorah's wings coming out of that smoke. If Ghidorah's in the movie, shouldn't it be like Godzilla Minus 3 with the 3 heads? This was actually an April Fool's poster, but I thought it was neat, so I wanted to show it off. Next up, Sketching Steve Studios did this Godzilla vs. Mothra piece, and I actually think it's Godzilla vs. Mothra 64. As you can see, Godzilla kind of looks like he's coming out of the ground here, and Mothra looks very classic up in the sky, but I wanted to show it off because I really do think Mothra is a pretty big contender on who Godzilla can fight in the next Toho Godzilla movie. I just feel like that makes a lot of sense given Toho's track record of picking Mothra to continue to boost Godzilla's global awareness, and as we'll talk about in a minute, that's their primary directive moving forward. I can see that being the case. Next one is Rat Boy Mickey's My Goji. This is awesome. I think that this is so cool. What a cool style to it. This is a very different art style than I think I'm used to seeing from this artist. I really like it. It's so wavy, and I love the like golden spit coming out of Godzilla's mouth. That looks super cool. And then finally, this one's so awesome. This almost has a bit of a D-Rex quality to it, but this is Red Sun JT's Godzillasaurus. So freaking cool. The Godzillasaur in Godzilla Minus One is by far my favorite ever iteration of a pre-evolved Godzilla. I think it looks fantastic, and this artwork makes the thing look so scary. I really like this a lot. I think that this turned out amazing. The coloring on it is so good. Great job, Red Sun JT. I'm a big fan. A very large $21 Godzilla Minus One cushion is being released. This is so silly. It just looks like a big egg. Wouldn't it be cooler if it was in the shape of Godzilla instead of just a big egg with Godzilla on it? Either way, I'm not going to order it because it'll be way more expensive than $21 if I get it overseas, but that's exactly the type of thing I would get. A big Godzilla pillow. I don't know if I'm the only one who has this, but like at night, I need a pillow to go right here on my chest because I'm a side sleeper. That way it like stops me from crushing my chest and helps me breathe, and a big pillow like that would be awesome. A series of Godzilla mini towelettes is being released with the Godzilla battle line designs on them. There's a Godzilla, a Shin Godzilla, a Godzilla Minus One, and a King Ghidorah mini towelette coming out. I'm assuming they're about this big. That's a big mini towelettes typically are, and they're like face towels. Pretty cool. I love the battle line art style, particularly love that Shin Godzilla. I did mention this in the last video, but we got really nice looks at the Godzilla Edwin collaboration jean bags. These look really nice. I really love that Godzilla font up there. It's all fuzzy and stuff. Is that the Godzilla 2014 font? That looks so similar to it. Toho, are you even allowed to use that? The jean quality looks really nice. Godzilla looks great on these. There's a bag, there's kind of a fanny package thing, there's a wallet, and then there's like a tote bag, like a store bag. That'd be awesome. This looks super high quality. I hope it can carry a lot of weight. Alrighty, the Bandai Movie Monster Series special color versions, Godzilla 2004 Last Scene version and Godzilla 2023 Odo version Memorial Golden version were revealed. I will be honest, the 2004 Godzilla I think think is kind of lame. I guess I kind of appreciate the orange on him, as he is not just purely red. He does kind of have a burning Godzilla-esque quality to him, but I really like that golden Godzilla Oto version. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the Oto Godzillas I just mentioned. I loved that Bandai Movie Monster Series figure, and the gold one is pretty cool. It'll go really nicely alongside the golden Godzilla Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla Minus One. The Godzilla Stores Umeda in Osaka held a Champagne in Osaka event featuring Godzilla Special Edition exhibits and commemorative goods, including lots of celebration for Godzilla raids again. Now, this isn't directly related, but we're going to talk about the Godzilla Store Umeda here in a second. Godzilla raids again is getting a lot of love. Obviously, it's kind of an anniversary of that film, 1955 to 2025. It's also neat to get some celebration of that, as a lot of us are kind of thinking that's maybe going to be the direction that a Godzilla Minus One sequel heads, so it could give us an indication of where we're going. I really like those film strip things they released, though. That's epic. Yes, the Godzilla Store Umeda opened, and they had a blue Godzilla Minus One statue on display. This is the Godzilla Minus One statue that we've obviously been obsessing over for over a year now. It's just its mouth is painted blue, and then the spines are painted blue. This thing stands boldly at the start of the store so that you know where you are, and then there's also a photo showing off a couple of the X Plus figures on display. But what I think is really cool is if you look right behind King Ghidorah there, you've got a Godzilla 2019. You've got the blue Godzilla 2019 where he's all charged up. That is so sick. I always like to see whenever you get like a Toho Godzilla in America or a legendary Godzilla in Japan. I always think that's cool. Adrian Wadidji released this very cool video visiting the Godzilla Store Umeda, exploring what they call the largest Godzilla store in Japan. I didn't know that it was the largest Godzilla store, but that is so cool. It does look a lot bigger than the Godzilla Store Tokyo. Actually, the Godzilla Store Tokyo is one of the smallest Godzilla stores, a lot smaller than the Godzilla Store Osaka, but it's so cool to see the Godzilla stores continuing to expand as a brand, and not only that, featuring so many cool things like that giant gacha game, all those wonderful figures, and more. I'll just let Adrian's video play out for you so you can get a sense of it, but I am so hyped for the Godzilla stores continuing to open. This one is in the Orabashi district in Tokyo, and I would really like to visit it.
The largest Godzilla store in the world just opened in Tokyo. You will be welcomed with this giant Godzilla in front of the store and a giant gacha machine called Monster Machine. Super happy I managed to score this. As you enter, there are so many different Godzilla items here. Some have 3 items per customer purchase limitation. They have so many various sizes of Godzilla to purchase, as well as different fun puzzles, blind boxes and bath balls with toys, cards collection, and cool stationery, bottle cap figures, and many plush toys. Some of their cute partnership like this with Hamtaro. This is a must visit. It's Godzilla store at Odaiba Diversity Tokyo Plaza.
We had and then lost a Takashi Yamazaki Bon Joon-ho collaboration kaiju film. Takashi Yamazaki and Bon Joon-ho got together at a little talk show while Bon Joon-ho was over in Japan promoting Mickey 17. The Parasite director Bon Joon-ho released the movie Mickey 17. It's his first English movie, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend it. I truly think it's a great movie. While the movie was premiering in Japan, he did a talk show appearing on stage with director Takashi Yamazaki. During this, Yamazaki praised Mickey 17, saying it was interesting and surprising, and saying that it had been so long since he was this excited to watch a movie, and that he loved all the social issues the movie tackled. Ho responded by saying he loved Godzilla Minus One and celebrated that there were monsters appearing in both films. Yamazaki continued off of this, explaining that the movie The Host, also directed by Bon Joon-ho, was a big inspiration for Minus One, given its focus on a family story in a monster movie. Yamazaki found it to be a, quote, new monster movie, as in like it was a game changer, one of the first of its kind. I still have not seen The Host, but I hear nothing but good things about it, and I really want to watch it so badly. Ho responds by admitting that he was also equally inspired by Godzilla Minus One's impressive commitment to being a movie portraying humanity and history in a broader monster movie and a genre film. Ho then proudly exclaims, "Let's continue making lots of monster movies." Takashi Yamazaki celebrated this little talk show, showing a picture of him holding up one of those little guys, one of those little monsters from Mickey 17. I forget what they're called, but he posted this little thing, and his caption was a little confusing the way it translated. It said, "We got a message from each other saying that we should make monster movies together." This wound up being mistranslated and posted on the internet as saying that they should make a kaiju movie together. This was reported all over the place. Director Takashi Yamazaki had to come out and be like, "Hey, what are you saying?" No, we didn't. He didn't mean let's make it together. He meant let's keep making monster movies with each other, as in at the same time as one another. They should both keep monster movies alive and healthy. I could not be happier. Those are two incredible filmmakers wanting to continue the legacy of monster films, elevating them from B-level movies to A-level movies. I love that. I want more of it. Give me more of it. I love both of their movies. I want to see more monster movies from both of them. a huge report was given on Toho's global strategy over the next 3 years to expand Godzilla's brand. I will do a video breaking down exactly what's contained in their global strategy coming up. It's pretty hefty, so I'm kind of putting it off because it's overwhelming. Bloomberg did a very nice job recapping that article. Unfortunately, I don't have access to their expanded article as you have to pay for that, but I do have the free recap version they posted, and that's the version I'll be breaking down with you, and that's also the version that everybody else broke down, which I do think is important because it means that most of us don't have the full context as to what this Bloomberg report actually states. However, we do have the information contained in this recap, so let's jump into it. Starting out, Toho will be investing 120 billion yen in accelerating the globalization of Godzilla. I saw a lot of Japanese fans respond very negative to that headline, saying that they don't want Godzilla to become globalized, and it was later clarified that that's not what it means. In fact, I saw lots of Japanese fans then celebrating as they learned the new context. They're not saying Godzilla should become more globalized as in like they want MonsterVerse Godzilla to take over and Legendary Godzilla to take over and they want America to take the reins. That's actually the opposite of what they're saying. They're wanting to spread awareness of the Japanese Godzilla across the globe. They want the Japanese Godzilla to become a global brand, as the MonsterVerse Godzilla kind of is the global brand that they want their Godzilla to also be. Not to say that they're upset with the Legendary Godzilla. Obviously, Godzilla is Godzilla. It's a huge deal for Legendary's Godzilla movies to do as well as they do. New Empire's, technically speaking, the most successful Godzilla movie ever made at the box office, and so they want to keep that series alive and healthy, but they want more emphasis on the Japanese Godzilla as well. So they're not westernizing Godzilla, they're just globalizing the Japanese Godzilla. And we've seen that a lot. We've seen a lot of games and comics and stuff collaborate with the Japanese Godzilla, such as Marvel Comics, which is collaborating with the Japanese Godzilla, not the American Godzilla. Anyways, they will be investing 120 billion yen, which is 1.2 billion US dollars in Godzilla over the next 3 years in order to grow his brand. That's a lot of money, and their whole goal is to grow the Japanese brand of Godzilla, focusing on increasing demand for the Japanese films and animation projects. There are more animes on the way, it seems. They say that they will look to explore content and IP deals with others, so they're going to try and collaborate with as many people, license Godzilla out to as many people as they can. We've seen Godzilla appearing in Dave the Diver, in games, Minecraft, all sorts of video games, all sorts of mobile games in particular. We've also seen Godzilla appearing in all sorts of weird merchandise places, like pens and pencils, as I talked about in the last news roundup for Godzilla Minus One. And we'll talk about soon, Toho actually won an award for their big efforts here. 15 billion yen will go to expanding Godzilla into home video games, merchandise, and attractions. That's right, more Godzilla video games are on the way. Meanwhile, 70 billion yen is being dedicated to developing more movies. It's great to hear that we're not just stopping with this next one. Animation, I hope that means more anime projects like Singular Point, although I love Chibi Godzilla as well, so that's fine. And mobile games as part of this strategy. Toho is also simultaneously launching a Toho One subscription service, which gives you access to Toho cinemas, plays, merchandise, and games on digital platforms. I'm assuming it's kind of like every other subscription service, kind of like AMC A-List, and so if you live in Japan, it's probably pretty worth it. Toho's goal is to grow the Japanese Godzilla brand overseas by 20% as the Japanese population continues to age, and so they want newer fans, and in order to do so, they gotta make this big international push, and they're trying to do so by 2032. If you don't know what that means, it just means that not as many people are being born in Japan, which means the population's actually aging rather than getting younger, as there's not as many young people to fill the places of older people, which means like there's not as many people who are younger willing to consume products. So they need Godzilla to spread overseas to people like this guy and you. That's their goal, is to spread it to people like us. They also say that thanks to Godzilla Minus One and Toho Animation, Toho as a company received its highest ever profits in a fiscal year by 2025, which is pretty cool. This is where the big headline comes from, this Bloomberg report we've been breaking down. And I gotta say, I don't think it is what people think it is. It specifically says that Toho will be proceeding with a quote-unquote sequel to the Academy Award-winning Godzilla Minus One. That's the report, but people like Fangoria picked up and reported on this. I don't want to call Fangoria out like in a negative way. In fact, I have a lot of respect for Fangoria. Of course, the first Fangoria article was a big spotlight on Godzilla. Fangoria has a long history tied to Godzilla, but their article on this, I think, is a little crazy, a little misleading. Their article on this is directly titled Toho confirms Godzilla Minus One direct sequel from Takashi Yamazaki. Now, let me reread you this statement and tell me where they confirm it's a direct sequel. It says, and to proceed with a sequel to the Academy Award-winning Godzilla Minus One. Important to note, Bloomberg is a Japanese news company. This article was written in Japan and translated to English. This is not the first time this has happened. In fact, if you remember, I had to do a video debunking that Godzilla Minus One was set set in the Shin Godzilla universe and was a Shin Godzilla sequel, as an almost identical report came out back in 2023 that stated that Toho's Godzilla Minus One was the follow-up to Shin Godzilla. There is a difference in that used the term follow-up, and a lot of people took that to mean sequel or prequel in that case, when in fact it meant like just the next Toho movie in line. This one does use the word sequel, but I do want to stress that there is a possibility, no matter how small, the next Toho Godzilla movie could be a standalone Godzilla film, an anthology movie, it could be a brand new reboot, it could be unrelated to Godzilla Minus One. I don't think it will be. As I've been saying, it's a kind of a weird decision to pull Takashi Yamazaki back in immediately, hype up the fact that this is the follow-up to Godzilla Minus One, that Yamazaki's back, director of Godzilla Minus One is back for the next Toho Godzilla movie, but then to have it just be an unrelated Godzilla film, not a sequel to Minus One, especially after Yamazaki spent basically an entire full year campaigning to get a sequel on Godzilla Minus One. If you're wondering what that full year campaign looked like, go check out my big in-depth breakdown on all that we know about Toho's upcoming Godzilla film. We don't actually know for 100% certain that it is a sequel to Godzilla Minus One. What we know is that it is Toho's next movie and the follow-up to Minus One. Again, that being said, I do believe it's a Godzilla Minus One sequel. I'm not taking Bloomberg as my proof though, only because I need Toho to say it. I need Toho to say it, and Toho has continued to announce through their official press channels that this is the next Toho Godzilla movie under the lead of Takashi Yamazaki, without giving it a title, without giving any plot details away, and without ever one time directly confirming that it is a direct sequel to Minus One. That's a pretty important discrepancy, and I need to acknowledge it because I saw too many people not acknowledging that fact. It seems likely that it will be a sequel to Minus One, but this cannot be taken as 100% proof. I will also say though, I continue to hear from people in Japan that it is a sequel to Minus One, and so that's what I'm expecting. A sequel to Godzilla Minus One. I will be more shocked than anybody if it turns out to be an anthology film. That will blow my mind more than anybody else, so that would shock me. I'm expecting a Minus One sequel. I will be amazed if it isn't. I don't know why it wouldn't be. I have no clue why it wouldn't be. But I cannot take the Bloomberg article as my proof, but we cannot trust that 100% until Toho says it themselves. It's like Space Godzilla and Supernova. Until I see proof from Legendary or Warner Bros. That Space Godzilla is in the sequel, I cannot take it as definitive 100% proof that Space Godzilla will be in this next movie, and that's how all of you should be operating as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. It is through the support of my patrons on Patreon that I can continue to make videos like this for you. If you want to support the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below where you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. And if that's not your thing, please consider joining as a channel member. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all next time for the next one. D-Man out.